A relationship is not an end game, right? It's a journey. So if we see the relationship as an end game, oh, I found someone, right? Then a lot of other psychological issues come into play, right? A lot of expectations. We expect instantaneous gratification, instantaneous joy and happiness, and so forth. Man, listen, I have nothing against monkeys, okay? It's just with their little fingers, they're a little bit too human-like, yeah? And then they're running around stealing things, a bit devious and so forth. But hey, I have friends that behave just like monkeys. So let's not make this an ism or anything like that, all right? Can we get back to serious things? Can we start filming? Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hacking Life. This is Tony. Today, I'd like to talk about the number one reason why your online dating isn't working for you. Now, from a behavioral science perspective, that reason could be what we call loss aversion. Now, loss aversion is one of the most fundamental cognitive biases or mental hangups that there are out there. It's one of the ones that have been most proven and shown in experiment after experiment, dealing with people from all ages, from various different countries. So it's safe to say that most of us, if not all of us, have experienced loss aversion at one time or another in our lives. Specifically in relation to online dating, what loss aversion means is that, well, look, we come up with a reference point. And that reference point might be the ideal person that we believe we are going to meet or we should meet, or the one who's ideal for us, whatever it might be. Now, the minute that we believe that there's a chance we will not find that person, that is, when we look at that reference point and it looks like the person we've met is not going to meet our qualifications, okay, we back away from it, right? We back away and we say, I don't want to lose that ideal. I don't want to lose that ideal. And, hey, I'm going to stick with what I have. I'm going to keep dating until I find the right person. All right? That makes us a bit overly conservative. The other side of loss aversion is, okay, I've been doing this for a while, been dating for a while, have not found the right person, and I realize, okay, inevitably, I'm going to have to compromise. So that reference point of my ideal is going to have to drop. I know it's going to have to drop. And once that happens, I start to do something else that's very strange. I'll take risk. The first person that comes along that even seems nearly to approximate my ideal, I go for, right? Does that fit the pattern of any of you out there? Well, that's one of the things that I've seen many friends tell me, right? The other thing is that even if they've gone into dating, they've found somebody, maybe that person has fit that ideal, right, at first. But then as time goes on, they realize that they mistook a lemon for lemonade. The person they thought was who they were is not who they are, right? Now, to be honest with you, some of that, in my opinion, comes from online dating or online dating as a media or as a platform, right? I was in New York a few months ago, and a good friend of mine said to me, look, if you wanted to date, everybody needs to check you on an online platform, which means you need to be part of an online platform, right? And I thought that was a bit scary to me, right? Even if you meet a person through friends, even if you meet them through family and so forth, they're still going to go into the bathroom and check you out. Does he like monkeys? That kind of thing, right? Now, that's a bit weird to me, but hey, be that as it may. Now, the other challenge, though, I thought from a behavioral science point of view, is that when I create a profile on that dating platform, right, that profile is going to ask me to specify precisely the kind of person that I'm looking for. Right? Okay, you might allow some general open questions and so forth, but by and large, it makes you mentally picture the kind of person that's ideal for you. That means it reinforces whatever reference point that might already be existing subconsciously. Okay? The second thing is that because of other people out there, other people can see what you're looking for if they're members of that dating scenario or you come up and so forth. They know what to do. If they've played this game many times, they can become predatorial and they can pretend to be lemons when they're really lemonade. And we've seen lots of disasters that have occurred as a result of that. So I'm not a huge fan of the online dating, but I accept that it's something that may be necessary going forward. So I'm going to try to help you with some behavioral tools to at least improve the results and so that you can be as happy as you can be with it. The first thing that we note with loss aversion or in addressing loss aversion in experiments is that one should take a portfolio approach. Now, the minute I say portfolio, a lot of people think, oh, you mean date a lot of people. No, I don't mean go and date 100 people. What I'm saying with a portfolio approach is a portfolio approach recognizes that we can get value from many different options. Yeah. So what does that mean specifically? From the dating point of view, you think of yourself as, let's say I've got 10 things in my mind that make for the ideal person for me, right? Are all of those things must-haves? Or are many of them must-haves, but a lot of them are nice-to-haves, right? You probably want someone nice. You probably want someone who's productive and not lazy. You probably want someone who either wants a family or does not want a family. You probably want someone who likes monkeys or doesn't. Whatever it is, those are your must-haves, right? And those are fundamental. But there might be other things which, how they look in certain ways, their height, their weight, their look, blah, 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 blah. Those things might be nice-to-haves because those are what are most attractive to you or what you think is most attractive to you, but they may not be those necessary, those those nice to haves, but they might not be must haves, right? Now I can tell you as somebody who's married that a lot of times you learn what those must haves are only over time, right? You start out and you meet someone, you say, yeah, I love that they can do this and they have this and then as time goes on, you realize, oh, you know what? There's this other great thing that they do, and you realize over time that's a must-have. That's something that you must. You don't want to live without it, right? So it's okay to have standards. It's okay to have standards, but we have to first ask ourselves, what are the must-haves? What are the nice-to-haves? And distinguish them. Okay? Now, what does the portfolio approach mean then? It means isolating those must-haves and realizing that those must-haves can come packaged in many different ways, in many different people, right? And they can come in a person who's very rich and is this doctor and this lawyer, or it can come in someone who's a bit less rich and they're a teacher or a professor and so forth. And very often you find yourself in a situation where, look, those things that I thought were must-haves before, when I meet this person who has the real must-haves, I can set them aside. That's the first step to us reducing loss aversion, okay? The next one is that we should prepare to accept the loss. In other words, we should prepare to accept a person as he or she is. Now, my parents raised us as Christians, so they used to always say that, listen, the faithful person gets the person who God wants them to have, right? And what that means is that person goes out there saying, look, I may want this, I may want that, but it might turn out that the perfect person for me is right next door. That perfect person for me is the one I've overlooked. Okay? Now, I'm not expecting everyone to go out and take that same philosophy. It's not necessary. But what I do expect is that you think about the idea that sometimes we have to accept that a person we might see doesn't have these other things that we thought they should have. And that supports the first idea of the portfolio approach. In that portfolio approach, we see that, good and nice and doesn't like monkeys comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, right? The last important issue is for us to realize that a relationship is not an end game, right? It's a journey. So if we see the relationship as an end game, oh, I found someone, right? Then a lot of other psychological issues come into play, right? A lot of expectations. We expect instantaneous gratification, instantaneous joy and happiness and so forth. And that may not happen. Now, from the loss aversion point of view, if we refuse to do that, if we refuse to simply believe that a relationship is instant, add water and mix, and we're going to be happy, then that's going to, again, reduce that endowment and reduce that loss aversion. So I hope you can use these tools out there in your dating. I hope you can use it in your relationships, whether online or otherwise. And all I can say is thanks for tuning in and hack yourself. Hi, this is Tony. Thanks for checking out my videos. If you'd like more of this content where I use behavioral science tools to help you develop personal hacks so that you can improve your life, your professional life, your family life, etc., then please consider becoming a regular subscriber. Also, if you're familiar with Patreon, please consider visiting my Patreon page and helping sponsor. My goal here was originally to bring many of the tools that I use in advising major corporations, CEOs, and boards to a wider audience of people. And one way that you can help me do that is by becoming a patron. So until next time, please hack yourself.